All right, it's a Wednesday. Let's get to overrated, underrated. Overrated, underrated, perfectly rated. Which one is it? It's a Wednesday here on Canucks Central. Producer Josh Elliott Wolf, the one-armed Josh Elliott Wolf.
You know it. Hello.
How you feeling?
You know what? I'm feeling good.
Do you?
Yeah.
Good days and bad days.
Yeah.
It's a mental grind. I'm not going to lie. It's fine.
Yep. All right. So overrated, underrated, perfectly rated. You give us the topics, and then we discuss. What do we have first?
We will start with this one from Jabo. Shot attempts, overrated or underrated? Is it a stat that really holds a lot of value?
Generally, yes. I mean, we talk about shot attempts. Corsi, obviously, is what got the conversation started so many years ago to really begin the analytics discussion in hockey. But really, like, shots have always been, I think, a baseline statistic to be able to judge how the run of play has gone, how game flow has gone. But yeah, last night, I mean, 84 shot attempts tells you that the Canucks were doing some things well, but then you need context to decide how well they were doing them.
Yeah, I think shots without context is overrated.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think raw shot totals, if you point to it, can be overrated. To me, quality matters more than shots. In the context of the game last night against Nashville, where the shot attempts were, 80, 84, 20, or 36, whatever they were, that's a pretty big indicator of the Canucks were far the better or more dominant team in terms of possession and getting shots at least directed towards goal.
Yes.
Only got 18 of them on goal. But I do think it can be somewhat overrated, especially with how teams are trying to generate quality chances as opposed to going for volume nowadays, at least the good teams. So it's not an easy answer.
Well, I think it's fair to say it's overrated now, but there was a long time where Corsi or shot attempts, because we just didn't have a lot of other data, especially available publicly, where shot attempts on ice, shot attempts were essentially at 5-on-5 the best predictor for future success. That's no longer the case, right? So, yeah, just going based solely off shot attempts would be overrated, yes.
Next one from Woodrow. The Canucks winning this round without Thatcher Demko. Overrated or underrated?
Still underrated for me. If anything, last night, okay, yes, maybe if you want to be extra basic about it, goalie gives up 3 goals on 15 shots. Bad night for goalie. Sure.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the context of the goals outside of the first one, Philip Forsberg going in on any goalie, like you're going to give Philip Forsberg the better hand in pretty much all of those situations. And the third goal is a rebound. You're hoping that your player, is able to either box out or clear the puck to the corner rather than put it in his own net. So, there's a lot that you could say about Casey DeSmith last night. I don't think it's fair to say he's the reason, and I don't think it's fair to put the series on him either. The Canucks are very much still the better team, so they can win this round without Thatcher Demko. Underrated thought.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. And I do think though, Casey DeSmith, it's not so much the goals either. There are times he doesn't instill confidence with his movement in the crease and his rebound control.
Yeah. He's a little bit chaotic.
So I can understand why when you watch him, you don't feel confident necessarily.
Well, Demko is just so efficient with his movements, right? So when you contrast Demko and Casey DeSmith, they're very different goalies.
Yeah, but it's also one's a great goalie, one's a backup.
Yes.
I think it shows. You know what I mean? And I think generally speaking, he's more of a backup type than a starter type, and those guys are going to have flaws in their game.
That'll be interesting as the series goes on, is what does Nashville start to hone in on that they can really find a weakness in Casey DeSmith.
Chef Swagger, panicking when the series is tied 1-1. Overrated or underrated?
I mean, we all know it's overrated, but it's very normal for pretty much every single fan base on the planet.
Yeah, it's nothing new. This always happens, and when you lose a game in the playoffs, people get squirmy. They get a bit scared about things. Like even if the Canucks were up 2-0, they lost game 3, you'd be like, oh, now it's 2-1. Should have been up 3-0, and you blew that chance. What if they win game? Anytime you lose a game in the playoffs, you're going to be concerned. And as a fan who's living and dying by every game, you're going to be scared when the team loses because you see like your mortality flash before your very eyes. Like, we can lose, we might lose this series. That's not a fun thought.
It's the complete opposite after game 1. Like, yeah, they're going 16-0. Like, no, they're not.
They're not.
Ebbs and flows happen in a series.
Yeah, and it was a missed opportunity last night with how they, overall played the game and the chance to go up 2-0. Absolutely, there was, right? But anytime you win the first game, if you don't win the second game, or anytime you have a chance to go up 2 games on a team in the series, it's a missed opportunity.
Yes.
And you are going to miss opportunities over the course of a long playoff run. If you are lucky to go on a long playoff run, it all comes to your response. It all comes back to how you respond. And that's why, I'm not getting too high and too low in terms of my level of concern with the team. But it just kind of shows you these 2 games in Nashville. The biggest thing here is you can't come away losing both.
Yeah.
The best thing to do, go in there, win game 3, put yourself in the driver's seat again, and you're back in control.
And just win the next 3, and then you don't even have to fly back to Nashville for game 6. That sounds like the best option.
That would be perfect.
Probably. Paulie, block shots and how they could be the deciding factor, overrated or underrated.
Oh, sometimes I do believe block shots can be overrated because just in the whole like blue collar mentality that we love.
Yeah, no, it's situational. To me, it's kind of like talking about the shots. Situationally, if you have a big shot block, it can be huge.
Yes.
If you lay out and your goalie's out of position, you get the puck, that's massive.
Yes.
Like shot blocks can help you. If you're blocking a lot of shots and not getting a lot of shots yourself, then it's somewhat overrated because you're under siege a lot and you have to block a lot of shots, right?
It's the old, why does Chris Tanev get hurt every year? It's because the Canucks stink. He's got to block too many shots.
Yeah.
Same goes for Alex Edler all those years. But yeah, it goes back to shot attempts. If you're withstanding a lot of shot attempts, generally it means you're not controlling the run of play. You're having to block more shots. I also think sometimes you can block a shot and take yourself out of position, and that gives your opponent a chance to attack.
Yeah.
Which cannot always be the best thing. But generally, if you're blocking shots in desperation, the way that Nashville found ways to, then you're going to be just like, yeah, it's not an underrated thing to give your team a chance to defend well.